Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Curt Runger, and I am the creator of Attorney Mentors, which is a site that assists newly licensed attorneys in starting their own solo law practice. And the disclaimer here is, I didn't know, I kind of thought when we got up earlier this morning that was going to sort of be the speaking engagement. So I kind of went over some of the stuff that I was prepared to talk about earlier today. And so I was sitting back thinking about what type of advice I could actually offer all of you. And I can't tell you anything about ClickFunnels. I don't think I'm going to be able to give you any more inspiration about working hard than Natasha did yesterday or anything along those lines. But I wanted to ask quickly, can I get a show of hands? How many people who are here right now have ever been self-employed before? Like as a sole source of income? Okay, so I see 3 people. So all of the rest of you who didn't raise your hands have never been self-employed before. So you've worked a 9-to-5 job, right? Or you've gotten a W-2 and you have never had to deal with any of the challenges that come along with being self-employed. I want to tell you 2 things that every self-employed individual needs to know. Number 1, you need to have an attorney. And number 2, you need to have an accountant. I'll tell you the reason why you need to have an attorney is because you're going to be putting yourself out there, selling various products or services online, and you need to have an attorney to help you set up some sort of a legal entity. I think Natasha touched on it yesterday a little bit. It could be a limited liability company. It could be a corporation. But the reason you need to get an attorney involved at the outset is so these things can be done correctly, because the reason you want to set up these entities is to shield yourself and to insulate yourself from personal liability in the event you get sued. And the more successful you get in any industry you're in, the higher the probability is that somebody's going to try to come after you or sue you. The other thing you'd want an attorney for would be to help you with any sort of legal disclaimers, whether it be on your website or whether it be, terms and conditions of, the services that you're going to offer somebody. So you absolutely need an attorney. You also need an accountant, because I'm telling you, I've been an employee before and gotten a W-2, and that made taxes just incredibly simple. I mean, everything's withheld on the front end. And when I went out and started practicing law on my own back in 2003, I never worked for a firm. I mean, immediately out of law school, I went and did my own thing. And so I didn't know anything about what the obligations for self-employed people were. And I didn't know. So I had money coming in, and I had never, had to deal with the situation, well, I've got to hold back this amount of money, because when you're self-employed, you're going to be paying your taxes on a quarterly basis. You're going to be sending in an estimated payment voucher to the government. And Agnes, I don't know how they do it in Canada. So this is just for the people, in the United States in terms of like the advice. But you're going to be sending in an estimated payment to the government every April, every June, every September, and every January. And the amount of the payment that you're going to be sending in is going to be based on what you did the preceding year. So it's important when you've got this money coming in that you understand you need to set aside at least a third, probably closer to 40% just to be on the safe side, and have that money there to set aside to send in to Uncle Sam. Because if you get behind, you're going to start getting penalized, and you're just, it's going to snowball. It's going to be an awful situation for you. The other reason you need an accountant is you need to know what is going to potentially trigger an audit. So, and what kind of practices that you need to have. I mean, everything, if you're self-employed, needs to be on one credit card. You've got to keep meticulous records, put them in a 3-ring binder, print out all your statements, and have them there organized so that if the government ever does decide to audit you, you can pull out your binder and just show, hey, these are my bank statements from the past, 2 or 3 years. I don't go so far as to keep like individual receipts for everything, although that's probably the best practice, but I do put everything on a credit card, on the same credit card, and keep my statements. And that way, when I'm going through each year and preparing My tax returns, I just go through and just highlight, okay, gas, this is the amount of, money I've spent on gas, and, whatever, 80% of my miles are business related, or, if I sign up, my airfare out here, to branded Summitt, I mean, that's a business expense. So it makes it incredibly easy when I sit down with my accountant every April, because I'm a notorious procrastinator, so I always wait until literally like April 14th to do it. And he always gets so angry with me. But when I sit down with him, it's all organized. I've written everything out on, I've gone through everything. I've written everything out. I've got all the documentation I need. And I've never once asked for an extension. And that's those two things, never asking for an extension on my tax returns and never running out of gas, are two of the biggest things that I'm proud of, that I think that a lot of people can't say that they've been able to do that. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today, and I've enjoyed getting to know each and every one of you over the past couple days. Thank you.